Exciting nighttime action continues at Los Alamitos with another great weekend of racing at the track of sunsets and stars. This Saturday night, we'll have a Pick 6 carryover of more than $55,000. And with the new money to be wagered, the total pool could be around $175,000. It's a big Saturday night of racing at Los Alamitos. We're all about the horse players with a Pick 6 carryover of more than $55,000 at Los Alamitos Racecourse.
Hey, welcome everyone to the Los Alamitos preview show. The 2-year-olds are here at Los Alamitos. All the juveniles already set for action. Of course, we have a big Pick 6 carryover going into the Saturday program. Happy to be joined by our panel, Chris Wade, Michael Wrona, George Duarte. Welcome everyone. Hope you guys are doing great. And I know you're going to have some red hot selections going into the Pick 6 on Saturday. Start with you, Chris. Your Remington Park selections were winning over the weekend, right?
Yeah, we were on fire on Saturday night. We had a number of winners throughout the evening, but we hit the late pick 4 with our top selection in each and every race. Our prize play when we gave it on TV, that We're a Seat crushed at 3-1, won by a length and a half under a hold. The favorite one, deserved a favorite outside. Then in the last race, in the stakes race, our top choice got the job done at 6-1. So the 50-cent pick 4 come back like $118 for the 50-cent bet with our top 4 picks. And the numbers are pretty good last weekend at Remington Park. Not so good on Sunday, but they were good on Saturday.
Yeah, let's focus on Saturday then, the day that you did do well. Michael, you called some outstanding stakes races this past weekend, and defending champ almost got it done in the El Primero del Año.
Yes, he went very close, didn't he, at quite decent odds, but was outfinished by Elena Andrade and Cesar Franco on the extreme outside with Show and Tell Cartel. Terrific story that you put up on the website, Orlando, the background of that horse. And certainly, I'm sure everybody was delighted for the connections. And defending champ, knocking on the door. I think sometime across the season, one of these big derbies will fall his way.
No doubt about it. He's definitely a horse made for 400 plus here at Los Alamitos. When Dr. Ed Allred gets a horse that can go 400, 440, they do space their races out well. They do end up shining in those big Grade 1 races as they continue to mature. George, you hit at 110 yards, right?
Yeah, it won pretty comfortably. I was never worried in that race. I mean, it's only 7 seconds, but she looked like the winner the whole way. So comfortably won. And the pick 4 ended up paying decent. I remember recommending singling that other favorite in the thoroughbred and then just going all in the last. And Eddie Willis got it done in the rail with shaking going on. And yes, Michael's selection I thought was best in the Derby. If he switches posts with the 10, he wins that race. He lost his path early with the 9 Fire Tools 1, 2, 3 drifting in, and then Gabriel just was a little bit patient, found the room, and then just started shoving, and he responded and almost got there.
Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit more about those 2 big races in just a moment. But George, we did get some comments on last week's show, especially the discussion about the win times and how the win affects time, especially from trials to the final. And I got to give you props that you did take time to respond to one of the fans that commented about that very discussion.
Yeah, I'm always willing to reply. I always read Charles's comments, even though I don't reply to them. I always read them, and I appreciate the engagement. And you can engage with me on Twitter, no problem, anytime, and I'll always respond.
Yeah, and right there you can see George's Twitter handle at PortersGD. And of course, Michael Wrona, you have a Twitter handle as well, or X, I should say, and Los Al TV boy, Christopher Wade, also. First post this Saturday, 9 races on top. There's our first post, 6:30 p.m. The pick 6 with that big carryover gets underway in race number 4. I believe the time for that one is 7:24.
7:44.
7:44 on the pick 6 opening race here. We'll be talking about that as well in just a moment. But really quickly, we touched on on the Los Alamitos Oaks, as well as the El Primero del Año Derby. And the Los Alamitos Oaks shaking going on. Eddie Willis just loves this family. The mother of Shaken Going On goes back to a horse by the name of Shaken Quake that he recommended to the owners, James Sills and Abel Flores. And they said yes, pretty much without ever seeing the horse, just from the recommendation of Eddie Willis, they purchased Shaken Quake, and she's gone on to produce mares who are now seeing their babies win stakes races. Cedar Hill, Toss-Up, who won a few years ago, and now Shaken Going On. All of them trace back to Shaken Quake. The owners trusted Eddie Willis, and it's paid back ever since. Had a chance to talk to Eddie Willis about the nice effort from Shaken Going On. Here he is.
That mare is really fast. You know, she showed it early last year. She got a little sore, so we backed off of her. And I ran her 2 for 30s at Will Rogers. Down. She had the fastest time both times. And it would just take a little out of her, and she didn't come back and run as good as I thought she would here, being older, plus we had 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Those were 2 weeks in between.
She's really sound. You know, we don't do much to her or anything. We just take care of her, feed her, and run her. So, but she's a really good one.
Eddie Willis, but he was talking about Will Rogers. Those races between the trials and the final are 2 weeks. The Oaks is 3 weeks, and that did tremendous wonders for Shaken Going On. Michael, you were getting ready for like a 10-horse blanket finish there, and then out of nowhere, Shaken Going On just takes off, right?
Yeah, everyone was anticipating a blanket finish, and indeed it was a blanket finish if you take out the winner. I mean, 2nd through 8th, there were very small margins between them. But despite that being a wide open race on the tote board and on paper, it was so decisive. And ironically, the Sunday night Derby turned out to be the blanket finish when most people would have guessed that the reverse would be the case. Train Bitaka was the short-priced favourite in the Del Año Derby, but he just couldn't get away from them. He ran a good race, but that was the race where you needed an extra pair of eyeballs.
Yeah, 10-1 for Show and Tell Cartel, put on a show from the outside post. And Chris, you're always kind of getting the little tidbits, info from Angela Aquino, Elena Andrade as well. Did they have any indication that Show and Tell Cartel was going to run this type of a race?
Yeah, well, because that horse has been given. Elena's been doing a great job throughout the season with all of her runners. Horses are always quick away from the gate, always there, thereabouts. Many of them coming a little bit short. And this horse has been facing some top-notch competition throughout the season and coming and be right there on the edge throughout and coming up a little bit short. Well, that outside post in these big races, when the races are close, the favorite Train Bitaka was the favorite down on the rail, had won from the rail before and had the best number, but that outside post, clear past the wire makes a huge difference. Horse always broke well, and the horse finished well and got the job done over a troubled defending champ who was probably best and will be tough to beat with a decent getaway against any kind of competition. The Derby's coming up, but that outside post makes a huge difference in these stakes races with the closely matched races that they are.
I can tell you that I was at Burgart's after the Saturday night races. There's a long shot coming in, and Cesar Franco was telling me how confident, how optimistic he was about Show and Tell Cartel's chances. He loved that outside post. He said they've been waiting for an outside gate for this horse, and he was brimful of confidence, and now we know why. It was his birthday weekend too, by the way.
Wow.
That's great. And Michael, as I was leaving on Saturday night, I mean, the party was happening at Burgart's. It was pretty bouncing there on Saturday night. Now I know why. You were there. Cesar Franco was there. Probably Eddie Willis is a frequent guest at Burgart's. It must have been a really, really fun time there at Burgart's.
Yes, it was one of the more boisterous nights at Burgart's, and had a lovely long chat with Eddie Willis and Justine Kleber, and then Cesar Franco was chiming in. Elena was there. Angie Aquino was there. And it was a big team. Rodrigo Aceves was in fine form. And so it was a very colorful, enjoyable couple of hours there.
Yeah, Rodrigo rides a lot of horses for Elena Andrade. And I can tell you he was he was thrilled that she got the win in the El Primero del Año Derby. It's as if he had ridden the horse. That's how happy he was just for the connections. They work so much, they work so hard, spend so much time with all these horses that you can't help but feel happy when good things happen to people that work really, really hard. Did have a chance to talk to Elena Andrade following the El Primero del Año Derby, and she talked about the vibe. What a good vibe she has in the barn right now. She's feeling excited about what's to come this season. Here she is again talking following Show and Tell Cartel's victory.
I'm big on vibe. So right now, like I said, our vibe has just been really flowing the last few weeks. Our barn's kind of grown, so we've had to incorporate, new team members and stuff like that. But I'm all about everybody clicking and everybody being on the same page, and everybody's just, throwing in extra hands where it needs to be right now until we get situated. But I'm so proud of my team right now.
Tell me about the process of claiming this horse. I know it started on the Los Alamitos claiming stakes. He comes into the barn, and obviously very well bred. He's one of the best bred horses in that race, right?
Yeah, no, I've just kind of watched him and saw that, hopefully when he matured a little more, the distance would be to his favor. And just getting him to break a little sharper was key. And so I always felt that if we drew a post position a little further out towards the outside, I think he would really handle it a lot better. I mean, he's always drawn to the inside a lot, and he's handled that well. So I figured if we could ever draw to the outside, he'd really flourish there.
And made it to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. That right there was like a big success story, right?
Huge. It was like a Cinderella story, So even winning this is even just as great.
Congratulations to the connections of Show and Tell Cartel. George, you were not only handicapping the race, but also did the comments following the race. What did you see as far as Train B Taka is concerned, and would you play him again next out in a Derby trial, Derby final?
I think Michael alluded to what he thought could be the weakness on the show last week, which is he just ran so many races in a row that at a high level. And I think that's what got him. I think it wasn't the post. He got away cleanly. He didn't really have any trouble. It's just I think he just didn't have that extra spark that he had in those other races, and it just caught up to him.
Yeah, he had that dogfight against Brown Coffee in the trials, the Winter Derby, and then ran lights out. Next out in the trials to this race. Back-to-back big races against Brown Coffee, I should say. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk all about Saturday's card here at Los Alamitos. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second half of the Los Alamitos preview show. That's race number 4 on the screen, the opening leg of the Pick 6. $55,000 is the carryover. So I'm going to ask each one of you, what do you think will be the total pool? So how much new money will be going in? We add the $55,000 to it. What do you think will be the total pool in Saturday's Pick 6? George, I'll start with you.
I think the first leg makes it a little bit more approachable because there's a possible single there. But the other races, I mean, you have to go 2-3 deep, and then it ends with that really competitive allowance race at the end of it. So if I had to guess, I would say about 140. So 190, 195 as a total pool. Just shy under 200.
Okay. Chris, you think the same? What do you think?
I think pretty close. You got some these baby racers. You got some well bred and some very nice workout runners. But babies, anything can happen. You saw that last Sunday night when the number of trainers had 2 horses, and the best one ran 3rd, 4th, and the other one he had 1. He had a big price to spice up the pick 6 with that big carryover. So anything can happen with the babies, and it's going to be a nice size pool. That first leg could be a single, might be too deep, but it could still be upwards of $130,000, $135,000, $40,000. Like I said, about $185 to $190, maybe even $200,000, because it's a tough ticket getting away from that 4th race.
So anywhere between 130 and 185,000, says Chris Wade. Michael?
I was going to say 190 as my guess before it came out of George's mouth. So I'm on the same page. A total pool, I think, would be pushing 200,000.
That'd be very juicy, very exciting for the horse players. Again, 6:30 is our first post, and the Pick 6 starts in race number 4 at 7:44. Here is race number 4. Conejo Malo is the horse that I'm going with as the horse to beat in race number 4. What do you think, Chris?
Well, that horse has a big look at the outcome, but in the race number 4, that 6 horse has got to look there as well. That thrust on the big drop in class, drawn nicely to the outside post. The horse always improves second time over the surface. The outside post promotes a clear path to the wire. And the dropping class, second time over the oval, that's going to be my top pick there in that pick 6 lifter. Thrust and then Conejo Maha there in the second spot.
George, you're usually looking for a value.
For me, it's Thrust as well. Baltus, he had a runner the other day that ran really well off. Looked like maybe he was giving up on. Ended up running really good. I think it went like 52.50 or something, final clocking. So he meant business with his horse. He draws the outside. It should get a good tracking position up behind Conejo Malo and Sir Lucas. And I think he's just going to outfinish these.
So two votes for Thrust. Michael?
Yeah, make it 3.
Make it 3. Okay, I'm by myself with Conejo Malo there, seeing if he can outdo Thrust for trainer Richard Baltas. So possible single there to kick off the pick 6 sequence. Then it gets pretty tricky. We got 4 straight races for 2-year-olds. Here's race number 5. I put my top selection as Winding, but I thought Famous Lights had a pretty decent gate work, as did I'm Relentless. Any thoughts in this race, George?
For me, if to feel I can get by this leg, I would go 3 deep, starting with Centella Olympia from the Nunez barn. I thought she worked really well. She came away well and was just under a hold the whole time and in a solid 12-4. I liked Winding's second work. Thought she worked well as well. And then Famous Lights might not work as fast as them, but just did it in a really professional manner. And I just think with the outside post, we'll get that clean trip. And if any other ones make a mistake, that's the one that'll capitalize.
Yeah, just some as far as breeding notes really quickly with Winding, Crooked Path ran in the All-American Futurity a few years ago. Moving on to race number 6.
Just before you do move on,
yes.
Orlando, a couple of things on that 5th race. Ultra Shiny worked with Blow Your Whistle, who came out and won last weekend on debut. I always like to make a note of horses that are the workmates of winning horses. And these two were pretty evenly matched in their gate work. Only problem is Ultra Shiny broke inwards in that gate work and has gate 1. I'm very reluctant to pick these juveniles at the 220-yard distance when they break right near the gap. when they have gate one. So that's the big query. But certainly Ultra Shiny showed enough ability, and maybe for next time out, if she can draw away from the fence, she's worth keeping a note of. And was it Remington recently, Chris, where we saw Sunday Silence making an appearance in a race?
Yeah.
And how sensational that Battleborn Racing stable, who had such success with winding around the 1,000-yard course, would now be looking at the fields for Saturday night and seeing a quarter horse filly of the same name ready to debut.
Yeah, that's something else. It's just great. Like it's the way the racing is. It's just things come around, and it's just names. It's just something special. And I like to see the Sarge as his hand in quite a lot of things, and he does very, very well. He just got back from looking at some horses in Florida.
Yeah, speaking of names, one name that you'll see quite a bit on these 2-year-old races is Amir Felix. E.G. High Desert Farms has a lot of babies sired by Amir Felix, and we'll be seeing a lot of them here at Los Alamitos in the racing programs to come. MP Shining, another sire that we'll be seeing quite a few babies sired by MP Shining. In race number 6, Mr. Hawks stands out because purchased for $260,000 at the Heritage Place sale. Kiss My Hawks, the sire, with Mr. Perry's wine. Beyond Repair, nice work. Trident, I thought, had a really nice work as well. AB Corona de Rey, I thought, had a sneaky good work as well. Chris, anything that stood out in this work? In this race, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to give a slight look to Beyond Repair there. The first and only driller for Valentin's Amelia horse showed me a good amount of ability. Was finishing nice under horse. Of course, Mr. Hawks, 2 solid workouts. The first drill I gave him a B+, came right back with the B++ there. And the second drill, the inside post, cost a lot of money and is well meant and has a big look at the outcome. Is my second choice. And the AB Corona, they rated the outside. This would be my third number in that 6th event. It's a closely matched affair, another good group of horses.
George, any thoughts on this race?
Before I say my thoughts, I'll preface it that I'm not a trainer. I'm not a rider, so I don't know how to properly prepare a horse. But I really like the 4 Trident, and if in his first workout he worked with Mr. Hawks, and I know that Mr. Hawks was obviously the big purchase, and related to Kiss My Wine and Just Good Wine, and they expected that one to outwork Trident, but Trident really outbroke him really good, and then they just put a hammerlock on Trident and just did not let him run and made him finish on even terms with Mr. Hawks. And then it was funny because then on the next work they put him against another good stablemate that we'll see later on in this card, and a Beautiful. And then they expected him to fire out of that gate, and you could tell that he looked kind of confused. It's like, in one race you tell me to stop, and then the other work you want me to go to keep up with this one. So I think he has a lot more to give. He looks like one that's an early type. He's out of KVN Corona, who does well early, and that's one that I wouldn't dismiss, even though the bigger named stablemate and Mr. Hawks is going to get the attention. Don't dismiss Trident. That one I think can run.
Well, Professor G put him on top on his selections in the program. I was pretty impressed with the way that Trident worked on March the 8th. Michael, anything to add?
I like the 7's gate work, AB Corona de Rey. Like the fact that Eduardo Nicasio is climbing aboard for Jaime Gomez. So I'd be using the 7 for sure.
Yeah, a very wide open race. Some talented runners in race number 6. Moving on to race number 7, this race named in honor of the Sycamore Creek Community Charter School. So welcome to that group here to Los Alamitos. Cowgirl Nelly, her granddam is Nelly Delaney, who as a mare won the Brad McKenzie Los Alamitos Winter Championship. Really nice mare. There's Beautiful, the runner that you were speaking about, George. And White's Prince is another runner that had 12.4. One thing about Beautiful, that March 8th workout, the fastest of 37 that morning, and Better Think Twice has produced some nice runners of late here at Los Alamitos. George?
Yeah, she really worked well, and I thought it was going to be like a slam dunk single. But then I saw the March 4th work of Una Dulce Flora out of Dulce Sentacha, and that was a really good work. But then she came back with a weird work on March 19th where she was like really short stride and just never looked comfortable. But if she can repeat that March 4th work, she can give Beautiful a run for her money on debut. And Dulce Sentacha has started off his freshman year really good. He's already won 4 debut runners out of 12 and with 3 running second. So, I mean, 7 out of 12 in the top 2 is a really good start. So he appears to be really early, and I wouldn't sleep on that one. I just was really puzzled by that March 19th work. It was just it was totally different from March 4th.
Yeah, it's like what the trainers always say, you just never know until you get them out there with some competition and, they start kind of firing out there. Chris, who do you like in this race number 7?
I'm going to give the edge. A Beautiful horse was very impressive in both workouts, and that second drill was pretty special and deserved to be the favorite, and has a big look at the outcome. I'm going to give a slight look at the Sparkly Flying is my second choice there for the connections for Mr. Castillo. This horse broke duels in our handshake throughout and finished pretty well. I can give it a B+, so it'll be my second choice, and of course the one on the inside, kind of a price looker there as well. So 5-4-1 on my numbers there in race number 7.
Michael, are you landing on Beautiful as well? I made Beautiful my top selection here in this race.
Yeah, it would be my top pick as well. And there's another Jaime Gomez filly. You mentioned the breeding tracing back to Nellie Delaney for number 2, Cowgirl Nellie. I really liked the gallop out for this filly in her works. Both of them, as a matter of fact, both gate works. And I think she's an overlay at 12-1.
Yeah, and remember a couple of years ago, everything started by Flying Cowboy 1, 2, 3 was just running lights out. I agree with you, Michael. A little bit underlooked here, Cowgirl Nelly. She also posted a faster time during her first workout back on March the 1st. So another good race for babies here. Let's take a look at race number 8. I thought this race is pretty wide open. The favorite here is number 3, Champions Run at 5-2. The favorite Cartel Gelding coming off of a 12.4 gate work. Billionaire Behavior, I thought, had a nice workout. He's 4-1 here for trainer Jaime Gomez. And I also liked Call Me JB's workout here at 12.5 back on March 16th. Michael, do you have any preferences as far as these 2-year-olds?
I'm just realizing how much stock I'm placing in Jaime Gomez's juveniles for this weekend, but I like Billionaire Behavior, number 4. And here you've got Eduardo Nicasio on board again, as is the case for that horse AB Corona de Rey in the 6th race. I think Jaime's got some very, very nice youngsters in his barn. I like what I've seen of the 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and the mare, the mother of Billionaire Behavior, Captive Cartel, I believe is her name. She ran a couple of stakes races up north in Northern California, ran second in some stakes races up there, including the PCQHRA Derby that they run up north. So Billionaire Behavior, I agree with you, Michael, had a nice drill back on March 16th. Chris?
This is the toughest 2-year race, in my opinion, amongst the 4. But Elmo Marrero did work pretty well there for Felix in both drills. I'll give my slight look in this particular event. I'm going to give a Call Me JB a look at for Sergio Morphin. This horse did improve nicely in that second drill. It worked both times pretty good. The second drill a little bit better. And then, of course, the 3 Champions Run. And then, of course, Billionaire Behavior. So it is a closely matched affair. So my numbers be 2, 6, 3, and 4 in that 8th event.
What kind of caught my eye is that pretty much every one of Sergio Morfin's babies, I thought, worked pretty professional. Maybe not with the fastest times, but I thought that they all came out of the gate nice and clean, pretty much straight, and just did a nice job from gate to wire. So from a standpoint of just watching them, they just looked like nice professional runners. George, any thoughts?
For me, it's like I'm picking for this race, which is the 220 yard, but maybe in a couple months, it would not be my pick. But I really like Elmer Romero. He's like a carbon copy of his mom, Kavita. He runs the same, he looks the same. It just looks like they're twins. And she was really quick early, and I think he's the most prepared to go with this short distance and is ready. And Felix, he can win first out, no problem. I remember when I was first started in this game, Felix was known for his 2-year-olds along with Jaime Gomez. So I really like him. I like Oscar Pinado. I would say him and Eduardo Nicasio are the best 2-year-old riders in this on this circuit, and that's who I would pick. But the other race, the race is pretty even. I mean, Champions Run is solid. The Jaime Gomez Billionaire Behavior is pretty good. Call Me Cole's Cold Ran, I thought, worked pretty well. They all worked okay, but not great. They all worked like B's or B minuses on Chris Wade. If I had to guess, that's where they're all at, about B minus, B, C plus, and that's what makes it tricky. So I would go with the one I think is the most ready, and that's Elmer Romero.
That's a good point, George. Chris, I gotta ask you, from all these 2-year-olds that we're gonna be seeing on Saturday, did you give any ace from the workouts? Was it just beautiful?
Just Beautiful was the main one. Yes, Beautiful was my solo A workout. A number of B+ers in there along the way, but that Beautiful was something special in my opinion. So he's the one to beat, and it's going to be a problem. He's kind of hard to single a 2-year-old, but he's going to be at that price, and that particular race he's entered in is the one to beat. And Beautiful has a big look at the outcome to be. He gets to go gate to wire and be tough to beat.
Okay, so 1A and some B pluses. I think Trident probably got a B plus in your book, Chris. Here's race number 9, an allowance event at 350 yards. In this one, nine of them in here, and there's some older mares. There's some 3-year-olds. La Peralta is my top selection here at 3-1. But EBW Inception gets that outside post number 9. Mambacita 4-1. It's a pretty solid field overall. These are for non-winners of 2 races, but there's several that are exiting the trials to the Los Alamitos Oaks. I'll go ahead and start with you, George, on your horses that you like in this one.
It's more. This is a tough race. This is more like who do I like, and then the hope that I can just have enough money to spread on the rest of them. I think this is a really wide open race. I had to land on a top pick, and I went with Cutesy. I thought she ran really good against Special 2 Corona, which I think highly of, and she easily outfinished EBW Inception. And Scott Willoughby usually does really well second off the layoff, gets her main rider back on. I mean, draws a tough post, but the inside horse is not that quick early, and so isn't Mas Prieta, so she should get a clean start, and I think she's going to outfinish these. But it's a tough race. I can see more than eye candy. She joins the Gennaro Vallejo barn, but Botello's typically give them a start off the layoff and ran a game race against Relentless Looker Z and La Peralta, so can easily take a step forward off that race. And Mambacita's been running really good clockings all this time at 300 yards and should have no problem handling the 400-yard distance. I mean, the 350-yard distance. It's just a tough race, but yeah, that's where I end up going with Cutesy.
So your top selection is the number 2, Cutesy, here in this one. So now we get to the selections of Michael Wrona and Chris Wade. And they are both going in race number 9. That means we have a showdown, a duel between Michael Wrona and Chris Wade to highlight the preview show here for Saturday night. We'll go ahead and start with you, Michael. Who is your selection in race number 9, your pick of the weekend here on the preview show?
Number 7, La Peralta, whom I am revisiting, having picked her off the layoff 3 weeks ago. I just feel like I have to come back for another try, especially in the aftermath of watching Dr. Low-Key win last Sunday at 8-1 when I picked the horse on the preview show the race prior, and he was pretty flat and disappointing on that occasion. I can tell you, I did not enjoy watching Dr. Low-Key win at 8-1 last Sunday. And so it just drives home to me the necessity to be willing to stick beyond one race. And La Peralta ran very well in defeat off the bench a few weeks ago. I think two things beat her. Number one, the start. And number two, the fact that Eduardo Nicasio was on the winner. Relentless Looker Z. By gee, he's a good jockey.
No doubt about that. If there's one thing that you cannot blame the panel here is that we are not afraid to stick with horses that we've picked in past races. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah, that's so very, very well noted. We've given a horse chance after chance and give them one more chance for the 5th consecutive time.
Yeah. So here's that race, Michael, from La Peralta, race number 7. Number 5 is La Peralta's post position here back on March the 8th. I'll go ahead and hit play. And anything that you like to point out, please feel free to do so. There's Jaime Gomez once again, those stills by Jaime Gomez.
And the 4-horse. Look at how Eduardo Nicasio gets the 4-horse out of the gate. And he's got it won at that stage, passing the gap, the race is over. But La Peralta does some really nice work down the outside to close that margin and got within a neck and galloped out well. And it was a very solid comeback race after having been out of action for a few months. And I think she's worth another chance. It's also maybe worth noting that her lone career victory came at her second start. So maybe she can just improve that little bit from what we're looking at right now. And second start of this form cycle could be golden. I'd say the thing that bothers me the most is that the horse drawn on her outside, Royalties First in gate 8, has an inclination to lug in, has come in several times early in her races. So I just hope that the 8-horse leaves La Peralta alone. And if the horse gets away all right and has a clear path, I think she'd be very strong and very tough at the end of 350.
And Michael, another thing to point out about La Peralta is that at 350 yards, she ran second in the trials to the Edberg Million Futurity. And in her most recent stakes level start, she was second in a trial to the Los Alamitos 2 Million Futurity. So she only has one win, but she has 4 runner-up finishes, and 2 of those have come at the top level here in her division. Now it's time.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And I think in the preview show a few weeks ago when she was my selection, I made reference to that Beach Walk form line out of that 2 Million Futurity trial because Beach Walk had come out to win as the fastest qualifier to the Los Alamitos Oaks. And yeah, there's a fair bit to like about her form lines. And she wants every bit of the 350 yards. She'll be one of the strongest in the field at the finish.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Chris Wade's selection. Chris, who are you going with in this very competitive race number 5?
I'm going to give Mamacita a look. She just broke her maiden there, Lucky Lifetime, start number 16, I think it was last time. She was a deserving favorite. But don't forget, she got fractures. When the horse next to her got fractures, she broke through the gate and was put back in and broke on the lead and said race over, good night. And 9 times out of 10, when they broke the gate, it just takes all the run out of them. But this filly broke on the lead and just kept on going. Now, granted, she was the well-meant and deserving favorite. She overmatched the field. But just the way she did it, and she had run left to give and was going very, very strongly there in that particular affair. So I'm going to give her a look here. With everything factored in on my numbers, she's got a big look at the outcome. If she gets away clean, she's got a good shot at a nice medium price.
Here she is. She's starting from post number 6, February 15th. Let us know what you think, Chris.
Yeah, she broke good, kind of head high and in, but she garnered the front end right there and was Baby Love tapped a few times midway and was starting out very strongly the final half of the affair. And she had run left to give. And like I said, she broke the gate prior to that. And when they do that, they just seemingly don't seem to run to their ability. But this one did. And she finished very well with everything factored in on my numbers. She's got to look at the outcome. And if she gets away clean, she can mind her manners in the gate here on Saturday night.
So you are going with Mambacita, George going with Cutesy, and I'm sticking with Michael on this one and going with La Peralta in race number 9 here at Los Alamitos, the deciding leg of what should be one fun pick 6 sequence. Again, first post at Los Alamitos on Saturday will be 6:30 p.m. The pick 6 carryover, over $55,000 here at Los Alamitos, and we can expect a pool. I gotta think it's gonna be anywhere between 170 all the way to as close as $200,000, and hopefully it does get pretty high. And there's lots and lots of winners there cashing tickets in the pick 6. Gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining the show, and of course all of our viewers, thank you for spending some time with us watching Los Alamitos horse racing. Make sure you comment on our YouTube page, and we look forward to what should be a great weekend. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day.
Exciting nighttime action continues at Los Alamitos with another great weekend of racing at the track of Sunsets and Stars. This Saturday night, we'll have a pick 6 carryover of more than $55,000. And with the new money to be wagered, the total pool could be around $175,000. It's a big Saturday night of racing at Los Alamitos. We're all about the horse players with a pick 6 carryover of more than $55,000 at Los Alamitos Racecourse.